In this video, I'm talking about the 3 types of intuition that you have that you can take advantage of to make your life better no matter what the hell is going on in the world. Stick around. I think you're going to love this. There are 3 types of intuition that you must know about. The first one is a mental. The second one is, let's call it higher dimensional guidance. And then the third one is what a lot of people call a gut instinct, but really it's channeling information from your higher self. So let's break each one down for you right now. The mental intuition is very much rooted in the fact that we're living a human life and we need to be able to survive here to live our purpose. Now, do we have a life purpose when we come in? No, we have more like life intentions and we create our purpose as we go, but that's beside the point. What I'm going to talk to you about today is this mental intuition. Now, it kind of has 2 parts. The first part is rooted in ego. So this is a false type of intuition because ego is about staying in your comfort zone. It's about staying safe and secure in a way that is not actually related to any kind of danger. For example, if you see a lion and it's coming at you, that your instinct is going to take over and you're going to try to find a way to either A, defend yourself, or B, run, right? Fight or flight response. So that's based on the central nervous system. Your ego, on the other hand, would be the type that tells you not to approach somebody that you find attractive and say hi or introduce yourself because you're scared of the rejection, right? So that's trying to keep you safe because rejection is exclusion from the community and that means death. So that's the ego, and the intuition is saying that's dangerous, don't do it. Ego intuition, you got to learn to ignore it. As a matter of fact, whatever ego intuition is kind of telling you to do, you got to try to probably do the opposite of that. Not always, but generally speaking, that's some good advice. Now, the other side of this mental intuition is kind of what I talked about with the fight or flight response, which is essentially what's going to keep you alive right here, right now. Am I going to cross the street without looking? Probably not. Why? Because it's a good decision to make sure that there's no cars speeding across the road that would hit you while you're trying to cross it. So that part of the intuition that is mental, that is central nervous system based, that intuition serves you because it keeps you alive. Do you want it? You bet your ass you do. So the mental intuition breaks up into the central nervous system response as well as the ego. Ignore the ego, follow central nervous system, you'll be good. The second type of intuition is the higher dimensional guidance type of intuition, right? So my spiritual beliefs, we have angels and guides that we choose before we incarnate, and they assist us in our life. Now, if you're not talking to them, if you're not asking for help, if you're not praying, if you're not, you know how some people are like, oh God, please help me get this, please help me do good in this job interview, please help me get this job. Okay, what you're actually doing is, even though the prayer's directed to God, like your angels and guides are the ones that take care of it. That's my spiritual belief. Now, how that associates with your intuition is whenever you get a chest type of an emotion with a chest feeling, and I say chest feeling for a specific reason, that is angelic guidance or higher dimensional guidance, because it could be a spirit guide, it could be an angel, it could be whatever, right? And essentially that's what's telling you to go for something or not to go for something. Because if you ever talk to somebody and they invite you to do something and you get like scared and your heart starts to race and you know it's fear, that is essentially them telling you like, hey, this is a bad situation, maybe you should avoid it. If, on the other hand, your heart starts to race and you get excited, and you can distinguish the difference between them once you learn emotional awareness or emotional intelligence, and you realize, hey, this is exciting. Sure, it's going to feel like being nervous. It's going to feel a little bit like fear, but you're going to know this is something I should be pursuing. So recognizing what your emotions actually are and recognizing where you're feeling that intuitive push or pull is highly, highly beneficial towards you following your intuition. And this higher dimensional guided intuition is really going to serve you once you start listening to it. The third type of intuition is the higher self intuition. You feel this as a gut instinct right here in the solar plexus. When you get this, it's an immediate knowing. Like you know it in your gut, you know it literally in your soul, and it's telling you, take this action. Don't take this action. Go this way. Talk to that person. Say this thing. It's almost like instant knowledge. And this type of intuition, a lot of us actually turn it off as we get older. So we have to rely on the upper 2 types of intuition. But if we can really connect to that part of ourselves and feel that out, that intuition will guide you faster and easier than anything in your personal history. That type of intuition is the most powerful because it literally comes straight from your higher self. It comes from your soul. It is your highest good that is coming through and saying, this is what you want or don't want to do. And when you follow that, like, you're going to see magic happen. It literally feels like freaking magic is happening. So a quick example, my boy, about a year and a half ago, he says, hey, I'm going to need your help with my business in Texas. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so he's like, come through. Like, I knew the answer to that was yes. About 6 months later, he says, hey, I'm going to need you here for this long. And I'm like, oh, hold on. That's not going to work. I knew that the answer was like, not no, but wait. We need to wait to see for some stuff to happen. And then, so sure enough, there was my cousin asked me, hey, I'm headed out to visit them. Like, I'm going to do some work out there. Why don't you come with? Okay, cool. So I show up, I surprise them. And they're like, oh, we were going to ask you if you could come a little earlier than what we had originally anticipated. And I stopped and I felt, and sure enough, the answer to that was yes. So I said yes. I came just as coronavirus shut the entire country down pretty much. And California obviously is one of the worst places to be because of how strict they are with their lockdowns. Now I'm in Texas and life is pretty much normal for me because like I can go to the gym, I can go to the grocery store and buy food, and I can go out to a restaurant if I want. So for me, I'm not suffering the way other people are suffering. And it's all because I was listening to my intuition. Say yes, say wait, say yes. Okay. Like, it's that easy. You just tune in to what you're feeling. And now I'm with my best friend. I'm lifting regularly. Like, I've made gains over the coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic, whatever you want to call it. And all it was me listening to my intuition. So even while the world is in chaos, you can thrive and benefit if you listen to your intuition. Because the truth is, if you're able to control your state, nothing outside of you will ever impact you in a negative way. Even if it's a crappy situation, which it still is, don't get me wrong, it's still a crappy situation. Things have still gone haywire. And I'm looking at my situation, I'm thinking like, man, I'm still so much better off because I listened to my intuition. And my intuition told me this is where I needed to be during this time. All right, I'm about to jump into a quick rant. So before I do that, make sure if you're liking this content, that you're liking the video. If you think someone can benefit from it, that you're sharing it with them, and that you're subscribing to the channel. Now, let's get to the show. Those are the 3 types of intuition. The one you really want to tune in and get to know is that higher self intuition that really connects at the solar plexus, that really connects in the gut. This is that gut instinct. People say, I had this gut instinct. I was supposed to do this. Or like when people say, oh, I knew this was going to happen. I felt it in my gut. That's what they're saying. They actually connected on a spiritual level. They connected to their higher self and followed that intuition. Now, a lot of people say, there's a lot of scientific explanation for all of these different impulses that we feel. And some of them are quite accurate. They're not inaccurate. It's just the way they describe it is exclusive of the non-physical experience that we're having. And that's the only reason why I don't exactly support them. But if we look at it from a strictly biological perspective, they're accurate. They're freaking accurate. But again, there's other factors that are in the unseen that are influencing what we can measure. Now, over time, we'll be able to measure more and be able to connect to things. Like, for example, some German study, I think it was like 6 months ago, was able to point to the fact that our thoughts have a mass to them. They are quite literally a physical thing. So when people say like, oh, thoughts are things, that sounded like some woo-woo type of law of attraction stuff, but it's actually being proven in science that thoughts quite literally are things. So again, as the physical catches up or the scientific community catches up to spiritual teachings, a lot of stuff that you're hearing will be like, oh yeah, I knew that somehow. Or, oh yeah, I remember hearing this one guy talk about that. Or there was this one podcast where they had this conversation that was about that topic. So you're going to start seeing a lot of those things happening, especially right now, this time of the world, the way things are going, it's going to be crazy.
You're going to start seeing this. Just keep opening your eyes. Just stay aware and follow your intuition when it's like, oh, should I watch this video? Should I listen to this podcast? Should I buy and read this book? Should I talk to this person? Should I not talk to this person? Right? Tune into your intuition. Figure out what your higher self is trying to tell you, what your angels and guides are trying to tell you, and follow through with it. It's going to benefit you so freaking much. You're going to love it. Okay, yes, my rant is over. So I just want to tell you real quick, I appreciate you so much for watching this video all the way through. I appreciate you for liking. I appreciate you for subscribing. I appreciate you for commenting and letting me know what you want to see more of, what you liked in this video, how it benefited you, because that's what's going to help me provide better content for you in the future. So with that said, thank you again for doing all of that. Stay blessed. Hello. Okay. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Okay. Loosey goosey. Loosey goosey. Okay.